Good afternoon, everybody, and we're glad that you were able to join us this afternoon. And we're trying to get the whole family together in place to make sure that nobody misses the fun with us this afternoon. The intentions of this webinar, of this meeting, basically is to show the talents of endearment objectives, what was intended to be delivered during the workshop that we conducted in the 5 days. Is a compressed version of the 33 full days. And I like to start this story with thinking about it and there how to bring out the news. I want to make a confession. And who didn't cheat in school? We all cheated. Or most of us have cheated. Well, I cheated. Okay, so nobody feels offended that in any way, shape, or form. And because I wasn't a person that is there to memorize books, memorize documents, formulas, and the likes. Just happened that I had good friends, better memories on the top of their heads, that they were able to capture the things faster than I did. And yet they were generous enough to share that information with me during examinations. If anybody of you professors wants to make such a confession, it's your time to make amends with your past, because, and this is a change of education. The change in education is happening right now from being memorizing. 1 second, please. Sorry, to memorizing information that is now in abundance available on the internet, to the points of wisdom. What do we do with the information that we generate? And what got us to the points of talents of endearment, that being the founder of this program, it stops me in there. Why do we need education today? If students walking into college, born in 2000, walked into college in 2018, are faster to acquire information than the instructors themselves in classes, able to analyze information faster, acquire far more updated current information than the whole library of a university. So why do we need education today? Education is necessary instrument, but it is in current models, it focuses on how do we do the next thing right, based on previous models or current, but it does not. It stops there. It doesn't go beyond that point of development for the students. Same thing applies as basically what I think is with artificial intelligence, because it provides you all the information that you need, that gathered from around the world, to deliver what is to be how to do the next things best. What are the current opportunities based on that, but it does not disrupt that process. So what we wanted to do, basically, just a little brief. Talents of Endearment is a program of identity branding forum. We started in 2007. We introduced a number of cultures, projects in the region that started actually with identity branding. We developed our own sustainable human development protocol that became the science behind the art that we develop and deliver. And our aim basically is to standardize this. I don't want to go into the details of this because this is not the subject of today. You can visit our website and look at it. The first things that we want to talk about, the workshop's objective, the talents of endearment, what it is that we aim to do. And I'd like to start this with a little story of Picasso. We shared it in the class, but I'd like to share it with you guys. The difference between an art, there are two types of artists, a painter and a sculptor. A painter adds different colors, different paints to make something looks beautiful. So it depends on the perception of the individual and how it's going to be perceived by others. We keep adding colors, adding things that sometimes the message is lost with the many things that we keep adding to the information. Sculpture, what it does actually is remove things. All what the painter needs paints, colors, brushes. Sculpture is all what he needs is a hammer and a chisel. That's all what it takes. So Picasso was at one time in his lab. One of his students walks in and sees a rock in front of him. And he asks him, and he says, "Masters, what is this?" He says, "This is a rock." He says, "I can see it's a rock. What are you going to do with it?" He says, "Well, I'm going to listen carefully to what Picasso was saying. I'm going to bring out the lion." He did not say, "I'm going to make a lion out of it," but he said, "I'm going to bring out the lion." The student puzzled, walked around the rock, and he says, "That must be a very tough task, master. Gentlemen, could you mute your mics, please, so it does not distract the sounds? Thank you." So looked at him and says, "Actually, this is a tough task. How are you going to bring out the lion out of this rock?" So Picasso looks at him and he says, "Actually, this is very easy. So what we're going to do is I'm going to remove everything that does not look like a lion until the lion comes out." Excuse me one second. Yes, Dr. Nabil. Yes, quick. Okay, you're doing it? Try through your desktop. It has to. Try through the browser. I'm talking to the don't download any applications. Okay, enter the class with the normal registration, please. Okay. Okay. Give me I don't know what I'm to say, but give me a chance. Hold on a second. I'll get back.
Dr. Abed, I'll take care of it.
Abdullah, could you call him, please, Dr. Nabil?
I will do that. Thanks.
Thanks. So basically, what Picasso says, I'm gonna remove everything that does not look like a lion until the lion comes out. So exactly what Tenets of Endearment was intended to do is to help students focus on what it is that they really want to be, what they really want in their life. So we had to look at two significant values to examine. The first one is, can we push students to the edge of chaos, to think out of the box in collaboration with the students from around the world and build projects together that serves their personal common aspirations. So Tenets of Endearment, the 33 days journey, focuses on two types of projects. One is an individual, and the other one is a group. But the crash course, we did it for 5 days. We couldn't actually have time to allow the students to focus on both. So we had to focus on a group's journey, and this is what we call the ultimate outcome. And the second basically is, how can we build an exciting e-learning experience to enhance the students' discovery throughout their learning journey in a friendly environment, transparent and scalable. To help them grow, it doesn't stop. So what we were looking to do basically is, how do we build sustainable process of growth, sustainable process of learning, relearning, thinking, rethinking, discovering, and rediscovering? That's what we did. In this session, what we are talking about today, we are not going to go through the scientific process, what is the talents of endearment is about, because we did that before, and we're going to be doing that again. But we're going to be talking about what it is, what actually in brief aimed to do, and let the testimonials, the analysis, the evaluation actually answers what exactly happened. So basically what we wanted to do through the talents of endearment and the journey that we built is how do we connect, how do we and everybody get connected to the futures of those children, to those students. How do we make everything relevant? How do we make those students becomes relevant to business, to their communities, to their education? So we have two processes. One is what they really want to do and the relevant education that they need to pursue. That was key focus of talents of endearment. Now, the other things that we wanted to do is we really need to do, okay, what type of characters we need to create. So we thought in terms of, we don't want just a normal students. We want intelligent generation. Intelligent generation, what we focus on the 6 elements: contextual, social, emotional, ethical, generative, digital, technological, transformational. These are some of the key intelligent pillars that we are focusing to help the students generate through the journey of the 33 days. The amazing part, it wasn't in the 33 days that we were able to help them generate, but actually to generate a fraction of that benefits in 5 days. So we pushed them to the limit. We pushed them to the pedal, to the points where. So out of the students that participated in this workshop, the 100 of them, only about 50 that were able to maintain it. And my colleagues was going to go explain what exactly happened and how things have progressed out. And what we wanted to do here with the talents of endearment is we want to amplify learning. We don't want it to be normal. We don't want it to be boring. Okay, just like me, for example, when I was in college, I wasn't a person that believed in textbooks. Actually, I taught a master's class a few years back for media classes, and I told the students, these are the reference books, but I don't recommend you to buy them. From the beginning of the semester to the end, you're not going to give me, and I'm not going to give you one piece of paper. We're going to use our brains, our talents, and the dialogue we create between our inner interest and ability to develop it. So we thought of taking away supervision and restrict resources, because resources available on the internet for free. I don't want to burden the kids in terms of what resources do they get, but we want them to be on their own, develop the resources that they really feel relevant to them and what they want to do in their life. So what we wanted to do, what happened when we asked ourselves the questions, what happened when we take teachers away and allow for groups learning and mentoring? Chaos. Because this is where the opportunities comes up in here. Today we are living in a situation where chaos is an absolute opportunity for learnings. We have almost went back because of the COVID-19, back to almost 100 years ago, where schools went home. No more bricks, but now clicks. And the other things, teachers who are in the class are no longer there. They're becoming more as just mentors or coaches. Textbooks are limited and burdensome, so it makes it difficult for students to study. So that's why we said, I don't like textbooks, take them away. From the talents of endearment experience, so nobody misunderstands me. No supervision and no grading. Because we wanted people to do the things because they love to do them, not because they have to do them. This is the biggest reward that the students and the future education that is happening. So what we wanted to do is think, how do we make our generation crazy for a reason? How they go out of whack. Now, crazy to somebody who's accustomed to a way of life, when he sees something different or the opposite, to them that is crazy. But to the person that with that idea, like Steve Jobs, most of us heard of him, knows of him, and knows of his statements. They are the one who changed the world. So we want to, through talents of endearment, give our students the chance in their lifetime to think crazy, to do everything in a way that becomes relevant to them. How to really turn what is irrational to rational and develop the logic necessary for it to make it happen. So learning for us, it is not to make it happen, but to let it happen. So what we want, so this is basically when we talk about learning can emerge in spontaneous order at the edge of chaos. Why? Because we have two scenarios here that happens. You have, how do I call it? A disciplined system, the way we are accustomed to it, and undisciplined system meet. A new order comes out spontaneously, naturally. So what we wanted to do, where education takes students through a disciplined system, we want to make sure those students emerge through undisciplined systems to develop a new discipline, a new process, a new innovation. This is how creativity is. How innovation starts. It's not allowing them to copy and paste or clone something that is phenomenally out there, attractive. We don't want students to get ready for artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence isn't the future. They are the future. We want to get artificial intelligence ready for those students and their way of life, change, trends that they are able to create. This is the chaos, the edge of chaos that we look to happen through the Talents of Endearment program. So e-learning was the best methodologies that we aligned ourselves with to deliver it, because it allows us to create excitement, keep those students coming back, attached, connected, communicated, be able to attract themselves, attract activities of others, watch how everybody is open, space, watching themselves, watching each other's progressing, enjoying the excitement, be able to talk. And we didn't limit ourselves to come from one geographical area, because the biggest opportunities comes when we explore to discover what else comes up from the rest of the world around us. So, and we started with e-learning back in 2004. And what we wanted to do in 2004 is, how do we create relevant learning system that can sustain and improve education deliverables quantitatively and qualitatively, reduce the cost of education to become affordable to all classes of people, while we are improving research for students' ability to discover and to deliver everything that they can manage continuously. And foster relevant research and development so through they can create impact on communities, people, and students. Promote local opportunities globally. Develop new resources of revenues by creating sustainable relationship between business education to foster present and future economic opportunities. Create a standard for humanity to thrive. But all of it is centered around students. And what we're going to be discovering in a minute, how the students themselves been able to go through 5 days of exciting pressure to become something different than they were when we started. And we added additional values of strategic objectives for it. How do we build a system that allows students to think ahead of their time, think differently, lose it, everything that you are accustomed to, think of how you can develop the new thing. Everybody's talk is caught up talking about how COVID-19 is creating a new norm. Imagine if we are able to create intelligent students, and that they are able to create a new norm, each for their own, for their surroundings, for their communities, for their business. Can any of us fathom the amount, the humongous amount of opportunities we are able to create? The amassed data that we are able to attract back. Could you guys mute your mics, please, to make sure we have no distractions, because this is being recorded to be shared with everybody joining us today. And basically what we wanted to do is how to propagate the data, because and we don't want somebody to say, oh, I've got to hold this for me, this is mine. Okay, this is the old way of doing things, because what's yours today is all over the internet. Once you are on the internet, it's all over the space. There's no privacy anymore. So what we want to do is we encourage others not to compete, but to collaborate, to cooperate. And this was the essence of the entire programs of Talents of Endearment. How do we teach students to collaborate, cooperate, and build together around the discoveries that they make collectively, collaboratively? Because I don't want to be held up to what is going on around my own little community. I want to learn what's going on with the on-site communities. Could you mute your mics, please? Our speakers. Okay. So what we wanted to do is have them get to that level and to become connected and engaged with the past, which is grandparents, the current, the present with the business opportunities, and the future, which is the younger people's generations. How do they get connected to each one of those generations throughout their lifetime that will keep them engaged? That's the value of Talents of Endearment, what we wanted to do. In designing our e-learning journey platform, we didn't just focus on how to do the next thing, right? Talents of Endearment is about helping students discover the right thing to do next. That brings it back to education, to redesign in new ways of how to do the new things and being discovered, how to do them right. So now we're creating a new benchmark for education. So what comes first, the chicken or the eggs? Nobody has been able to really answer that question to this day. But the question is, how do I keep driving education to improvement, to the future, if it wasn't around the students who are going to start that journey? So our emphasis with this is reverse. Instead of having the children go through college education to find out later what they want to do with whatever they had. And we all know, whatever education we have today, tomorrow morning is old information, is old data. Because the new things just keeps coming up on a daily basis, if it's not on an hourly basis. We all know that. Facts of life today, technologies has changed. It keeps changing the norms to the new norms from the time we wake up to the time to go to sleep. So what we want to do is, how do we get those students discover early on in their career development what they want to be to everybody around them, not just to themselves, what they want to be to everybody around them, and the type of education that is relevant to what they want to do. So instead of spending a lifetime trying to figure out what they will do afterwards, they will discover what they want to do first and then learn and go through the educational process of what to do. Now we have a relevant education to students. We have relevant future to those students. We are developing opportunities to the business communities, to the local communities, with students that made themselves relevant to everything around them. So what we want to do also, the future of education is about learning how to win people's heart. Anything we do, if we cannot connect to people, capture their hearts, we are not going to be able to be competitive. So everything we learn through the processes of engagement, through the processes of career development, growth opportunities that we go through, is entirely and utterly in terms of how we connect to people. You're not going to hear people's problems to develop solutions, to develop opportunities, unless they feel comfortable towards you. So Talents of Endearment's first emphasis is basically how to get connected to people. And that's why we broke barriers, tore everything down between students from Croatia, from UAE, from India, from Tunisia, from Sudan, from Somalia, to be able to talk freely, amazingly in a 5 days time, to come up with ideas, to feel freely to talk, to tolerate each other's and listen, respect each other's opinions. And most of them became good friends, basically. Now, this is the future, and the future of learning is about talents of endearment. How do we create that ability? We hear about firms of endearment. Now we are building talents for those firms of endearment. Everybody's talking about social responsibility, but we don't know what is relevant with social responsibility. What type of social responsibility do we really pursue? Now we are allowing students to become the core machine that creates relevant social opportunities to businesses, to education, to leadership, to communities around the world. So Talents of Endearment is about unleashing human potentials. And the only way we were able to successfully do that by taking away from everything that limits them. Go wild, go crazy. When you go hunting, you have an open field. In the desert, in the woods, in the jungles, wherever. It's an open field. So what we want to do basically, I don't want you to be a copy of me to do things the way I do them. I want you to discover new ways to do what is relevant to you that could perhaps look similar to mine or somebody else, but it has to be organic, original, and you. So we helping students through Talents of Endearment to become them, to brand themselves, be differentiated, be special. That was the emphasis to help their characters, because every single one of them, honestly, taught us lessons. The biggest lessons is how empathy, what the level of empathy that they were able to transmit among themselves in a very short period of time. So what we really need, what we considered in designing the program and delivering this course, this workshop, is how they think, how they learn, how they communicate, where they are now in time, space, career development, how they prefer to be reached, to talk to, the type of questions that they really need to focus on. And what we focused on, since we're talking about Talents of Endearment, we have to make them think of a purpose-driven, to be purpose-driven, to build value, brand value, opportunities that connects to people, drives markets, and help businesses to grow. That becomes the new models of education. That becomes the future of education is not by building students on the basis of what was, but helping students build education on the basis of what is to be. That is the future. That is the change. That is the trend where we have to start transcending to, and it's going to happen. If we don't catch it, we're going to miss the train for it. So Talents of Endearment was designed for students, business and entrepreneurs from around the world. We start actually from 9th graders schools to college, 33 days asynchronous e-learning. We compress those 33 days to see how hard we can push those students to do groups of projects that will make it easier to take them back for a full 33 days journey, to focus on themselves, to focus on the opportunities, how they can connect everything, how they can scan the whole environment of their local communities to see where they fit, where they want to fit, where they want everybody around them to fit. Because they have the ability, once they release their imagination, their wild imagination, to create opportunities and go to business and say, this is your future. Businesses today are lost in terms of what career opportunities do we really need to attract. And my colleague Abdullah, he's an HR director and expert. he's able to tell you why this transformation is really relevant and it's very important. I'm not going to take longer. So through our e-learning model, we're able to create worldwide clusters. So we create clusters of students to come up with clusters of opportunities with data for education, for institutions, for businesses to validate, to authenticate, so to qualify, to quantify and qualify. This is now those students becomes a source of new developments. Instead of wandering around, now we have to start wondering how to be able to control that growth that they can generate for us. Unstoppable, because they have that capability, they have that potentials. Allow them to discover and disseminate relevant opportunities across the world communities for clusters. Now we have not a data of some statistics that we gather from around the world of some reports, but we have a real validated local opportunities, meaningful to those students, to those institutions, to those businesses, the communities. How do we, what value, the data that we can start developing and disseminating? I'll leave it to your imagination. Now, I will leave this floor to my colleague, Mr. Gautam, to share with us his professional overview, and we'll come back a little later, carry on. Mr. Gautam, could you take it from here?
Thank you, Dr. Baidas. Before I start, a little introduction. My name is Gautam Sengupta. I have approximately 40 years in industry as a career, of which the first half was in the corporate sector, which I joined in 1981 upon completion of an MBA from IIM Calcutta, Kolkata to most people now in India. I worked with the Tata Group as a member of their Tata Administrative Service, working with Taj Hotels. Since then, I've been an entrepreneur for the past 20 years or so, with a consultancy operation, a research and consultancy operation in the Middle East, and a skills training company in India. I'm also fairly actively involved with a body called TIE, which many of you will be familiar with. And we formed the Dubai chapter of TIE in 2003. So I've been a founder charter member and also have been a past president of TIE Dubai. Coming to the session that we had, you all know that it was an online session from 18th to 22nd June, 5-day program, as a capsule from the normal 33-day program. And you do know that this was in essence sponsored by the Board of Trustees of Talents of Endearment, of which I am a member. Now, before I get into the observations that I have on the program, on the way the event was actually held, let me give you a few facts and figures. Over 100 students registered for this program, and they represented really 4 territories: the UAE, Bahrain, India, and Croatia. Naturally, the nationalities represented were far more than 4, but these were the 4 territories represented. And they came from a fairly large number of institutions, specifically the University of Dubai, the University of Sharjah, Capital College in Sharjah, Khawarizmi College in Abu Dhabi, Heriot Watt University, Middlesex University, University of Wollongong, all in Dubai, RIT Dubai, RIT Croatia, and Amity at its Noida campus in India. The course was presented by Dr. Abid Baidas, who you have all met now, and he was supported by a team of members from the Board of Trustees of Talents of Endearment who functioned as mentors. Now, specifically talking about the course, we had 2-hour lecture sessions daily. Over and above that, students were given daily assignments on the first 3 days, and they were broken into groups for a group assignment, which was presented by them on day 5. These group assignments were presented to the entire student body and, of course, to the presenter and the mentors. Now, coming to my observations, this was a body of students that essentially did not know each other, barring perhaps the few that came from their own college or university. There was no possibility that they would know anybody else. However, and this was being done online. However, by day 3, we began to notice how much interaction there was between the students. And that told us that the course had been able to develop a certain degree of involvement. And therefore, there was this openness to actually discuss and confabulate with the other participants. The content was good, with simple, clear PowerPoint presentations, clear individual and group assignments, instructive video for study and for discussion. And the presenter was able to build bridges with the students. This was quite apparent from the fairly high level of interaction between students and presenter that we saw throughout the daily sessions, throughout the communications that were being put up on the chat board, etc., etc. And also we saw it on the chat box itself, where students were commenting on how the course was being run, how it was being taken forward, and how much they felt in synergy and empathy and closeness in terms of a relationship that they had built up already with the presenter. The platform that was used was custom built, and it was good for online. There was the option for the student to be in a town hall at one point in time, on the community wall, on the group wall, in various event platforms, and even into closed private meeting rooms, very akin to what you see as breakout sessions at international conventions, physical international conventions. And we found that the students made good use of that online platform. They weaved in and out of the town hall, onto the community wall, into their private rooms, out into their group. It was really very good. Having said that, that is not to say that there were no glitches. Yes, there were glitches. This is technology, and there is Murphy's Law, which says if something can go wrong, it will. It did a few things. On day 2, accessing the platform had problems, but that was taken care of. But another irritant was that anytime a student or a presenter or a mentor posted something, it would automatically come into your email inbox, which was an irritant more than anything else. It could easily have been taken care of if on day 0 or day 1 we had informed all students that they could go to settings and organize things so that they would not get these email settings. But these are glitches that we have to anticipate, and they will get taken care of before the next session is undertaken. Students were very involved in the assignment process. That was something that was wonderful to see, and it was something that became apparent when every student spoke. The involvement was massive. The fact is that when, and I'm now talking about the student group assignment presentations on day 5, the fact is that whenever a group was presenting, there was huge interaction, from the student body asking questions, a little bit of chit chat, a little bit of fooling around, and of course, the interactions and the interjections that were coming from the presenter and from the mentors on occasion. There was huge interaction. And what was interesting to see also was that the students had put in adequate time. And I say that with real care. You see, this was a 5-day online program. They didn't know each other. They were being pushed. There was a 2-hour online session on a daily basis. There was individual assignments given to them on a daily basis. Over and above that, they would have their own social needs, in keeping in touch with all the people that they wanted to keep in touch with. And yet these students were able to adequately devote time to be able to build up presentations, which when we saw them on day 5, we realized were fairly well thought out and well presented as presentations that they made to us. One thing I must mention to you is that though there were 100 students registered, it is not as though all 100 students were actively participating in the online sessions. In truth, it was more like about 50%. And I'm given to understand that 40 to 60% is what you should typically expect in terms of participation, on a format like this. But I also bring to your attention two other things. One is that some of the institutions had exams or were very close to the exam date, so the student had a commitment there. The other is that the student had no financial commitment to the program because they had not paid any money towards the program. It had been sponsored by the Board of Trustees of Talents of Endearment. And you sometimes tend not to devote as much time to a non-paid program as you would to a paid program, where you have a greater stake. Student enjoyment and involvement in the process was also apparent in the group assignments, where we found that students had involved not only in their own group assignments, there were 8 groups that had been formed. They had actually involved in participation in other groups' assignments. Now, that's a huge thing to my mind. In a 5-day online program where you don't know anybody else and you are under time pressure, to be able to actually do this tells you that they had been involved in the process that Dr. Abid Baidas has been talking about in what he spoke a few minutes ago. Finally, after the event, we were able to receive about 40 students' survey forms. We had sent them an online survey to get an indication of what they felt had been value to them from the course. And it was very heartening to see that a majority would be the wrong word to use. Practically 100% of the involved students, and I'm back again to the 45, 50 that involved on a regular basis throughout the program. They all seem to indicate that they had benefited hugely from the program, that they had loved the presenter, that they had liked the manner in which they had been taught, the manner in which their assignments were listened to and handled, and most importantly, that they had picked up concepts and ideas which they were not necessarily aware of or completely knowledgeable about, specifically about branding and about personal branding in greater importance. That brings me to the end of my observations and comments for the moment. Thank you, Dr. Abid. Back to you.
Thank you. I just want to make a note. Anybody wants to speak or ask a question, please raise your hand. And when we get done with our presentation, I'll be more than happy to open up the mics for you to speak. And any questions, please put them in the questions and answers as you please. And we've got a few of our champions, the students, will be also given the opportunity to speak their mind. And you may not see the mic setup, but you can raise your hand to speak in order to control it from here. The next slide basically is for Mr. Abdullah to share with us his assessment report. And he's our HR guru. Here you go.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abid. And again, thanks for everyone who has attended today, from the students and all the faculty members from the universities. Let me do an introduction of myself. So my name is Abdullah Al-Banna. I represent Identity Branding as Country Managing Director for Talents of Endearment, also a member of the board. I have around 20 years of experience in human resource and human capital, looking at talent and also development. So what I wanted also to highlight today is the one part which my colleague Gautam has expressed, which was the survey. So yes, we had 100 students sign up, and the response, or what we have seen in the sessions, have been around 40 to 50 students. And again, due to either time constraint or having sessions, exams at the same time. But regardless of that, there are students who went back to the recorded videos and they have looked at these videos and kept themselves up to date. So the nice thing about the platform is once the session is done, they can go back, look at the video, and even for the students who attended, they can also go back and assess of the session which was done, and also have all their assignments and the videos in the same slide. So going back to the survey, we have received the overall of 39 response. Initially we thought it was 40, but when I cross-checked the names, it's 39 responses. Out of these 39, it covered 10 universities, so students from 10 universities have responded to the survey. Majority from Middlesex University, Dubai, and from MET University, Uttar Pradesh in India, and the rest of the universities like RIT Croatia, Capital College of Sharjah, Harithwal University Dubai, Khwarizmi International College, University of Wollongong, RIT Dubai, University of Dubai, and University of Sharjah. Let me take you through the questions we added to the survey. So the first question was, what do you think about the workshop in general? Now again, that is a free text, so we got a lot of response. And majority of these responses were positive. To put a weightage, again, as I said, it's free text, so about 97% of them were satisfied or even benefited from the workshop for all the 5 days which we have conducted. The second question was about, do you feel what you learned would help you? Again, free text, so we got about 95% acknowledge that it helped them to learn something. Some of the responses was just yes, or there was no response. So we have taken it about the 95% of satisfaction. Third question was, did you enjoy the way the workshop was in terms of the structure of the workshop, how it was conducted? Again, also positive feedback on that at around 97%. Also a free text where we got the responses, where we evaluated that. The fourth question was, do you think the information given to you was enough to help you? And with the free text, we got around 95% of satisfaction. The rest was either it was neutral or there was no response. What do you think of the workshop schedule? We got 100% satisfaction. Everyone liked the timing, where it didn't interfere with any of their studies. And this is for the 39 students who have responded to the survey, not overall. And we understand that there are some students which the schedule might have not been suitable. Next question on the fifth question was, what do you think of the trainer? Positive feedback, and everyone likes Dr. Abid. I've seen all the comments on text during the sessions. After the session on the platform, Dr. Abid, you're the hero of all the students, I would say. So 95% of satisfaction there on the trainer. Question number 6 was, what do you think of the online platform you used during the session or during the workshop? So again, 82% was satisfied. There was few responded about the platform having the notification. And as Gautam mentioned, it was a lot of notifications based on all the activities in different groups. And yes, there was an opportunity to remove that notification, But I think in a way it actually engaged the students more with all the notifications which was coming to engage them to know what was happening at that given time. And the feedback or the notification is immediate. Of any feedback from any of the student, update, upload, they get a notification saying that this is uploaded or written on the platform. On question number 11, what would you like to see we offer? Again, I'm jumping some questions because I'm looking at the free text first, then I'll move back to the affirmed question. So on question 11, what would you like to see us offer in the program or in the future? Around 75% responded that they would like to see either more or further or new parts of this program. Some of them did not respond or said that they would look for what's there in terms of what we can offer. On question number 12, what kind of assistance you need to help you with your career? We got a response of about 60% where there was a positive response to show that something which we can support in terms of their career. When I say we, it could be from the university, from Talents of Endearment, but there are identified support which is required. So this really helps to understand that what they're aiming for is very clear. So 60% around we got as a response. What else do you recommend? Again, there was different recommendations. I can't put a percentage because it's also a free text. So there are some good recommendations in terms of what we can develop from our side, or what we can fix from the platform or add as part of the program itself. Now I move to the 4 questions which had a definite answer. So question number 8, would you attend our future workshop? 95% said yes, 3% said depends on the workshop, and 3% there was no answer. So the good thing is it doesn't show any negative, but only that no answers were 3%. On question number 9, would you recommend us to someone else? We had no response of 3%, which was 1 response on that. No of 3% again, and yes was 95%. So that was for question number 9. Question number 14, would you allow us to use your feedback in our future communication or publication? Again, that's open for all if they want us to share these feedbacks. We've got 8% saying no, 3% there was no answer, and 90% they all answered yes, but they would like us to use their feedback for our future publication. The final one was question number 10. Would you consider us for future training and continued education? We got overall of 90% saying yes, 8% said maybe, and 3% there was no response. So that also shows a good indication of the program and the analysis which we have done. Overall, I think it was a very, very successful session. Looking at the feedback from the students, their activities, their interaction on daily basis, and again, the interaction from all the students. All the 100 students, we have looked at what was their activities on the system. Sorry. And it showed a very good dedication from them because they were interested. and there was something which they were learning. Dr. Abed, I'm done from my side. Back to you, please.
Thank you. I appreciate it, but I am not the hero of everybody. Actually, the students are our heroes. They really surprised us all with the magnificent the magnificent of them that they showed us. Next, would like to invite Professor Christopher Abraham to share with us the workshop's takeaways. Dr. Christopher, the floor is yours.
Yes.
Anybody else other than Dr. Christopher have their mics on, please mute them. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to this very special moment. And each one of us have gathered here to celebrate something remarkable, the celebration of youth, the celebration of achievement, and the celebration of camaraderie and collaboration. But before I go on to speak about the key takeaways, I want to share a few minutes of my background. You'd find a lot of stuff on the networks when you Google my name, but that's one side of the story. What you might not see on that side is something which I'm going to share with you for the next 60 to 90 seconds. When I was 18 years old, the doctors diagnosed an incurable brain disease. And they met with my parents and shared with them the shocking news that one, I would die in the next 6 months to a year. And number two, since my brain was damaged, that I would not be able to study further and that I shouldn't be forced or I shouldn't be pushed to study anything very serious. And the second important information they said, because of this rare brain disorder, they said that don't allow your son, that's me, to travel anywhere beyond half a kilometer because you would never know what happens to him and how you'd be able to get in touch with him. This was in the 1970s. So when you fast forward 40 years, I am a medical a miracle of the power of the human brain, a miracle of the power of human collaboration, the power and the hope and optimism of what life has in store, and most importantly, a spiritual miracle in the power of an almighty God who can finally help you to actually rejuvenate and get a new life. I'm Dr. Christopher Abraham, CEO and head of campus. Today I hold 3 postgraduate qualifications and a PhD in positive psychology and design thinking. I'm also a certified design thinker from Stanford IDEO. 34 years of professional experience in India, Singapore, Dubai, Canada, and now for the last 23 years in Dubai. I'm the CEO and head of the Dubai campus of SP Jain School of Global Management, which is one of the top ranked business schools in the world, ranked top 100 Financial Times, top 100 Economist, top 100 in the Forbes, and top 10, top 20 in Forbes US, and most recently, number 4 in the world by Times Higher Education and Wall Street Journal. And I've been part of this beautiful journey for the last 16 years. Apart from my teaching, I'm a consultant to the World Bank. I consult a number of governments, including the UAE government, the Executive Council, and I've done lots of consulting, research, and training programs for various corporates across the world. Now to come back to, and my area of research, of course, has been in neuroscience, and because I wanted to discover, since I was discovered with a damaged brain, I wanted to unravel how remarkable the human brain can be. So 2 major areas of my research are in neuroscience and positive psychology. And for me, what I'm going to share with you that we learned from these amazing heroes and heroines of the talents of endearment, which Dr. Abed Baida has mentioned, are these lovely students. And what I found was the energy, the enthusiasm, and the camaraderie that only youngsters can have. As we get old, we get a lot of ironic, negative characteristics. But youngsters, they're always full of energy. And I, by choice, decided to get into an academic milieu from the corporate world because that's the raw energy that youngsters give us. Of course, for the last few months, we've been missing that energy. But for me, at a personal level, it was a whiff of personal satisfaction when I had these 40-odd youngsters vibing with each other, trying to help each other, collaborate, and come back with some remarkable ideas and remarkable thoughts. So the first takeaway for me was the remarkable energy that came out from these students. The enthusiasm and the group collaboration that came out of it. Now some very interesting insights from the realms of positive psychology. These youngsters were so friendly to each other. They were appreciative of each other. Positive psychology has a lovely term for it. It's called appreciative inquiry. And we were able to see that those lovely words of appreciation on the chat, and when they collaborated with each other, how they were thanking each other, how they were thankful to the Terms of Endearment team, especially to Dr. Abid Baidars, for all the stuff that they got during the program. The second important thing we saw, this was in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, but little did we see any kind of anxiety or fear or uncertainty among our wonderful champion heroes and heroines. They were full of optimism, full of hope. And trust me, this is scientifically validated that the larger quantum of optimism and hope that you hold, the easier it is for you to face the future with determination, courage, and resilience. So that was something that I was able to see among all the 45, 50-odd students who were actively involved among the 100 who had registered. The other important thing that I saw was the gratitude that they had towards the program, towards the opportunity, towards the mentors, towards the trainer, and of course, towards each other. And each of these today are validated by science. For further details, you can check the research being done in Harvard and Wharton, in the University of California, Greater Good Science Center, where all these things are being studied. Love, hope, appreciation, gratitude, optimism, so on and so forth. So what I found, the big takeaway for me as a professor, as a mentor, and as a member of the Board of Trustees for Talents of Endearment is that humanity still has hope among our youngsters. And these group of youngsters who we had no idea who would join us, but this 45 to 50 of them who actively participated in the program gave us a lot of insights and learning that still hope is not lost in humanity, that hope is still not lost in our futures, that we still have a bunch of resilient youngsters who can take over the responsibilities given and look at the future with greater deal of hope, greater deal of resilience, and a greater deal of certainty. So for us, as members of the team of Talents of Endearment, the big takeaways were, let's not lose hope on our youngsters. Let's not lose hope on the power of youngsters coming together. Let's not lose hope on the power of ideas and thinking from our youngsters. And for us, the biggest takeaway is it's time to give them a chance to make a world which can certainly be better than the world that we have given them as an inheritance. So for me, it's a great opportunity to see that energy come out, to see the enthusiasm come out, to see the hope come out, and to realize there's still a greater purpose in each one of our existence. I want to thank Almighty God for giving me this life of almost 60 years after being earmarked with the death sentence when I was 18. And I want to thank all the human friends who have made this possible in this beautiful journey, including parents, teachers, friends, colleagues, students, and of course, the current team of colleagues from Talents of Endearment. So with those few words, let me bid adieu for the moment and look forward to an absolutely amazing time with each one of you in this long but beautiful journey that we will take together to certainly attempt to make the world definitely a much better place. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you, Dr. Christopher. I appreciate the warm, you're my mentor. So whether you like it or not, you're older than me with the knowledge and the experience that I cherish learning from you on a daily basis almost. The next presentation basically is the academic overview, Professor Nabil Al-Qadi, to share with us as a professor, as an educator, what he thinks should be the, 1 second here. And Dr. Nabil, you should be able to speak.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Baides. First of all, dear colleagues, my apologies for some, technical glitches from my side, so I've not been able to join you in Viva as my colleagues. Well, this is a very amazing experience. I still remember months ago when I had a chance to meet Dr. Abed Baides, and we had long discussions choosing each other about a lot of theories on academics and on self-branding. And I can see Dr. Baides laughing about this. And this idea of, talent of endearment started somehow through those discussions. And then, with my 25 years of experience, I'm professor in cryptology and computer science. I had a chance to, have a leg in academics and another one in the corporate side for the last 20 years. And I spent around 15 years now in the Gulf region. And really, without prizing my colleagues, I think these experiences among the most interesting and amazing experience I have seen being initiated in the academic side in the Gulf region. You might ask me why. First of all, this is very challenging to us educators. Many times, faculty members will come and complain, oh, our students are not interested. They're not really doing it. They see it as boring. Well, it's our burden. It's our goal to make it an experience when it's very amazing for them. And what my colleagues have been saying, they engage in an experience. It's not a course for which they are paying. And again, today I'm a vice president of academic affairs in Khawarizmi College, and our students participated in the middle of their midterm examination and of their exam period. And they have been finding, the energy and the wish to contribute positively. And we are very proud of that. What does it mean? They found that this program is unlocking in them something else, is unlocking some capabilities that they will take and go and carry it to perceive it and to achieve more in their outcomes in the courses. And that's what I want to focus today in my few words with you. This way of getting self-confident, of believing that, hey, you can do it differently. You can go and, share your experience with people you have never met. You need to think from different perspective. You need to be self-confident, and you need to just do it the way you believe it's the right with different way of guidance. That self-confidence, that possibilities that were unlocked in the students, they get it back and they carry it with them. And that will allow them for sure to look differently to the assignment they are having, to look differently to engaging experience in their courses, to evaluate the knowledge they are getting from another perspective. How can I use that for me, for myself, for, branding myself differently, for engaging in a more successful experience? So I believe what the program Talent of Endearment is giving today is just to unlock an unlimited potential of capabilities to the students. And this will have for sure a positive impact on their engagement in their studies and their outcomes. We usually go with the quality assurance and say, hey, how we can make sure that the students are getting that outcome. Nothing more than self-engagement, self-confident, that will allow them, to come back to their course, whether it's a mathematical course, a science course, hard science, soft science skills, whatsoever. But with this kind of program, they have been facing an amazing experience. You don't pay for it. There is no template for it. They want to an experience. They don't know what they're going to have, right? And Dr. Baides, correct me if I'm wrong. The first day, they don't know. And then they have been, guided in a different way. I'm here to partner with you. I'm here to work with you and to unlock additional capabilities. Absolutely. These have a very positive impact on their studies, on their scholastic results there, and will allow them to look to the engagement, to look to the homework, to look to the exam differently. It's a way for me to do better, to do it my way. And I'm sure the students with that will be a dynamic contributor, especially in this online environment, in this, disruptive shift that we are happy to see and to guide it very positively. So once again, as a member of the Board of Trustees, I would like to congratulate all the participants and big salute to, of course, the animator of the workshop, Dr. Spades, and all the team. This is an amazing experience, and I'm sure this is one among the most important and interesting challenges and chances we are offering to our youth. Thank you very much, and let's together keep it up and prove that this is a well-working concept. This is a unique opportunity for tomorrow's leaders. Thank you, Dr. Bates.
Thank you, Dr. Nabil. I feel the energy right now to take everybody and go back to the workshop and spend the next 40, 72 hours working together onto this. Now it's the fun time, the fun moment for the fine people to share with us what they have. So a few of those students I'm going to be sharing, they are already being here. Haneen.
Good day, my tens of Endearment colleagues and our trusted mentors. I'm Haneen Umara, a fresh graduate from the Mechanical Engineering Department at the University of Sharjah. I live in the UAE and I'm from Palestine. In this video, I want to share my gratefulness for Dr. Abed and his Board of Trustees for the fact that they believed in our raw capabilities and worked on refining them and guiding us. For the fact that they engraved their wisdoms in our hearts before our brains, defining the real meaning of endearment. I was nowhere near understanding the science of branding and understanding the power of endearment, and they changed that in the course of 4 days. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, the heart that now holds a special place for these 4 empowering days. Thank you.
Thank you, Haneen, and you've got the chance to tell us with your voice. I see you are with us, and I allowed the mic for you to just to say hello to everybody and say exactly how you feel to authenticate what you just said. Can you get it? Okay, go ahead, Haneen.
Hello.
Hi, go ahead.
I wanna greet everybody in this workshop and for all of the kind words that the Board of Trustees has said to us. This was really an eye-opening experience. It actually made us believe more in ourselves, and this is something that needs to be treasured because you can't find it easily around any corner. Thank you, Dr. Abed. Thank you, the Board of Trustees, for your kind words. Thank you.
Thank you, Haneen. God bless, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
The next, Masood, I think, opening up to us. 1 second.
Hi, my name is Masood, and I recently graduated from Middlesex University of Dubai. I was doing international business, and I'd like to thank the entire identity branding community to give such an opportunity for everyone who joined the sessions. It was really an amazing experience. The sessions and projects that we were given was quite fun to do. It was very interactive, and the overall experience was quite amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Masood. He's not with us today. A lot of the students are having exams. And this fine lady, I think she's with us.
My name is Melda. I'm the student at Rochester Institute of Technology in Croatia. I'm from and I live in Dubrovnik in Croatia. This workshop was an amazing experience for me. I met wonderful people from different countries and learned a lot about the branding that I didn't know before. This is extraordinary how people from different locations with different backgrounds, with a little bit of collaboration and brainstorming, can get so many brilliant ideas. I would like to thank to my teammate Aliyah for a great teamwork, to Dr. Baidas and all the instructors for all the help and support, to Ms. Al-Kayed for all administration support, and everyone else who was involved in organizing this event. Special thanks to all participants. Thank you. Goodbye.
Okay, Melda, she's having a problem with her mic. Thank you so much for your supportive word. We were really proud to have you on board with us for the last few days of the workshop.
Hi everybody, this is Yasmin Al-Hassani, a student at the Mass Communication Department at Al-Khawarizmi International College. I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who participated in this workshop, which was a source of inspiration to all of us. And I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Abed, because he has contributed to enhancing our self-confidence and sharpening our interactive and innovative skills. This workshop was a real great opportunity to everyone. It's such a great, memorable experience that no one could ever forget. I'm really thankful to attend this workshop, and thank you is just never enough. Thank you.
And thank you isn't just not enough. Yasmin, you want to tell us something?
Yes, hi.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Dr. Abed, for everything. I just want to say that this workshop was a world of creativity that was shortened just in 5 days. And I'm really grateful for being a part of this workshop. It's a truly amazing and unforgettable opportunity. We learned a lot of things, especially how to present ourselves in our own way. And thank you. You are really a successful person, and you're just an idol for every one of us. And I'm grateful to be among different students from different parts of the world. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yasmin. We are really proud to have you and all the others with us. You made us feel young again. Not that we are not, but you brought that energy back, like Dr. Christopher was telling us a minute ago. Another fine student of ours, Fatima from Sudan.
Hello everyone, my name is Fatima Ada. I'm Sudanese, but I live in UAE, Abu Dhabi. I studied renewable energy engineering at University of Sharjah. For the past couple of days, I've had an amazing, fun journey with this workshop, and such an inspirational and unique life experience that I'll never forget. I've learned a lot about life, branding, and most importantly, how to engage with people and win their hearts, and how important is it for my personal and career life. With our inspirational and motivational, funny, not to say teacher or monitor, but more like a father and friend for all of us, Mr. Abed, I'm very grateful for being your student. And also my amazing team members who I've learned a lot from. They are all unique and brilliant minds. Thank you for this opportunity and wish you all the best.
Thank you, Fatima. Fatima, you want to say a word? Where did she go? Can you hear me? I think she's having a problem with her microphone. Another fine lady.
Hi guys, my name is Anam and I am a student at Middlesex University here in Dubai. I am from India, but I have been brought up here in the UAE. To me, these workshops have been a great way to network. It has definitely made me realize how important it is to stay connected to people and be helping each other, to be really putting your words into actions. I would like to thank Dr. Abed, our grandpa, for always being so encouraging and so supportive of our ideas, and no matter how wild they are, always wanting us to do more and be better. This platform has been particularly great because I've learned that I have to strive for more than I personally would, and to always believe in myself. I would definitely love to be a part of this again. Thank you.
Thank you, and we love to have you with us again. I don't see Naam with us. And
hi everyone, this is Alia Hassan. I'm a business administration student at Khwarizmi International College. So I've been thinking for the past few minutes how to describe Talent Endearment Workshop. And while thinking, it took me back to the first day when Dr. Abed had asked us to introduce ourselves and to share our craziest thoughts. And that was first, but this is how this workshop was different from any other workshop I have attended before. It was crazy in a fun way, innovative, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So thank you, Dr. Ahmed. Thank you, Talent Endearment team, for this amazing opportunity. And thank you, my colleague all around the world. It was nice meeting everyone. It was a nice experience, and I'm looking forward to attend similar future workshops.
and you get yourself a chance to say yourself thank you, and we want to thank you and the rest of the fine ladies. Go ahead, Alia.
Hi everyone, greetings to all. What a delight seeing everyone after such a quiet time and after a great achievement. I would like to thank you, Dr. Abed, for the time and the effort was provided to us during this workshop. And as they always say that learning, it's a never-ending process. I'm looking forward to attend similar workshops again and again, especially with yourself and the other supporters. I would like to thank also my partner, Melda, for the great team. Because of this workshop, whenever I go to Croatia, I know who to contact now. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. God bless. It was really a joy. It was really a pride. It was a prize for us before it is to you. And we're glad that we were able to do something together. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Let me just 1 second. I've got a few guys once is raising their hands to speak. Give me a minute, and then we'll come back to you after we finish up the program, and then we will you'll be the first to start. The certification board announcements. I would like to invite Dr. Christopher. Dr. Christopher?
Yes. I think the others need to mute. Yes, thank you.
Sounds like you're on a spaceship.
Once again, I was so delighted to see these young, wonderful faces with their hearts and minds open, and again, brought back refreshing memories. And now to some serious announcements. Now this was just a teaser, a taste of things to come. So the big thing, as Dr. Abed announced, is a full-fledged 33-day endeavor where you will deep dive into many more deeper facets. And one of the things that we looked at was the relevance of a certification that can really validate and credentialize the efforts and the activities that go with it. So we have formed a certification board, and I'm humbly honored to be chosen to be the chairman of that certification board. We have done a little bit of soul searching. We have identified some mechanisms by which that can be done. Because you've seen, the proof of the pudding is in each one of you experiencing a teaser of just 5 days, 10 hours, what it can do. Now imagine multiplying the same initiative into 3 to 3.5 times with a lot more activities, lot more projects, and lot more interactions. And then the live application of these projects in real time, entrepreneurial and business scenarios. So we are currently working on a format where we will have a certification, a board precisely, which would include the top professionals from academia within this region and from the regions where our future participants will come from, which will include Asia, India, South Asia, of course, Europe, Africa, and any other parts of the world from where our students could come. So every university that is represented, we would love to invite the head of those universities, the chancellors, the presidents, vice chancellors, whoever, to become part of the board. And simultaneously, we are working on getting the certification accredited one locally in the UAE with probably the National Vocational Qualifications Framework, which is a federal framework which can validate and credentialize the work that goes behind these kind of unique, novel approaches to learning and development. So you can wait to get the happy announcements once the developments take further shape in terms of a concrete framework, in terms of a concrete group of people who would be responsible for the certification. And of course, as we progress, there will be more than one to validate the good efforts that you as youngsters put in and the work that comes from the developmental phase of Dr. Abid and the rest of the team members. So there are some very exciting things that are evolving, and we encourage you to look forward to these announcements so that you can also become part of this great success story. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Christopher. We have a lot of wonderful news is going to be evolving, like you mentioned, ahead. And one of those wonderful news, basically, we're going to be holding a special webinars, another special webinars for our newly nominated, appointed ambassadors of the Talents of Endearment to the world. And a few of those fine students nominated themselves, and we made decisions also to add others. In the next 10 days, we're going to be working on preparing them with their calendars, working with Mr. Abdullah Al-Banna to carry on, or also with their programs and their agenda of activities, the different incentives that we are providing them. Also, we're going to be appointing a number of good qualified students to become system administrators assistants, and because we need all the great transparent help we can get to grow with this platform and manage it. I would like to make the chairman's remarks. Unfortunately, Mr. Osman Sultan is in Lebanon. He just recently lost his father, passed away, and he has a family matter that he could not join us this evening. I will make the remark on his behalf. Mr. Osman Sultan, of course, most of you knows him. He is the former founding CEO of DO, and he is a chairman of our board of trustees. Now, and I'd like to say, bring his remarks with one story. I like stories. You probably knows that. There is a believer, non-believer came to a believer and told him that once I see your God, I'll believe in him. The believer looked at him and said, logical question. Took him by the river, dug a little hole in the sand, gave him a cup, and told him, start emptying the river with this little cup into this little hole. And once you empty the whole river into this little hole, only then you will see God. So the non-believers looked at him and says, are you gonna be crazy? How do you expect me to fit the whole river into this little hole? So the believer looks at him and says, then how do you expect to fit in the glory of God into your own little vision? Talents of endearment isn't about somebody else's vision. It's about letting your vision out in the open, to visualize the world around you, to discover, explore, think, rediscover, re-explore, rethink. It is a constant process of evolution that doesn't stop until the day we leave this world. We continue to grow. We continue to become who we are at the point of time where we're gonna be. And there, think ahead of the future based on the children's that you can connect with today. Think back with the stories, grandparents, the older peoples in societies, the wisdom that they have that you can carry forward for all the good things that you're going to build for the future. Leave no exceptions. Make sure everybody is considered. Make sure everything is considered. Take nothing for granted. No matter what you have or you don't have, it doesn't matter. Because what you have today is going to go tomorrow. What you don't have today, you might have abundance of it tomorrow. It is you that all you have. You are your biggest assets. Make it worth. Make it valuable. Make it attractive. If you cannot make yourself valuable to yourself, nobody is going to appreciate you. You've got what it takes. You've got that brilliance in you. You surprised us. All of you. And I'm sure as many of you that surprised us, we have millions out there that just looking for a chance. As we gave you the chance, you're going to be becoming a part of the Talents of Endearment community to give others a chance in the community. Not just your age, not the ones in your classes, but the younger ones in your life that's going to come across your way throughout your life. Don't get this sidetracked by incidents on the roads. It happens. Keep your sight on that journey, the end destination, the fun place that you're getting into. Don't be taken away by things that may not be relevant to you. Keep focused on what is relevant to you. You will make the difference. You made a difference in our life in 5 days. Imagine what difference you can create in your lifetime. Enjoy it. Cherish it. We have a program announcement that we're going to start again with a full-fledged program for 33 days at the end of this month. And that's going to be the 33 days journey focusing on yourself, your career, and all the other people that you will be able to bring on board with you. We have a number of major partnerships that we are developing. The last of those is MIT University in India. That gives us that increased our access to students and populations of 900,000 people. So now everybody in this community that is started in a small group, you're going to become a part of a growing community of 900,000 plus. Our responsibilities together is to make it bigger. Not bigger with the numbers, but bigger with the impact we can create, the change we can bring and make around us, to the world we live in, to the world we cherish, to the world that deserves. Life is beautiful. Coronavirus isn't a game changer. It's an accelerator. It didn't make good things bad. It helps us discover the things that we were missing that made us bad. When we were crashed and put to the test. You guys, in 5 days, you were put to the test, crashed in 5 days, and you did wonderful things. Don't stop there. Make it happen and going. Questions and answers? Now, I've got a few people that had their hands raised. Here, I'm having a hard time to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, Rubal Vanya. I just open up your mics to ask your question. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I just had some questions about their discourse. And first of all, I want to tell this is a very, very good program. I believe that this helps people to be empowered and it helps bring out the talent inside one person. However, I had some questions. For example, when you say that we're supposed to have like online learning, is it, and students have more information than their professors, that is not always correct. If I'm not wrong, there needs to be some kind of body that governs what is going on, correct? And if we all just use the internet, anyone can say anything on the internet. And also that if students are given complete freedom to learn, they could learn to end up making dangerous things. For example, a computer virus or a botnet. A good example is currently the Miraha botnet was created to get an advantage in computer gaming, and it almost brought down the internet. So it's not always a good idea to let people do what they want and to get their potential insight. It started as a gaming thing and it ended up almost destroying the internet. So there needs to be some kind of control to make sure that what students develop doesn't harm people and society, correct?
Okay, let me answer one question. The one comment you made. For your information, and I'm sure you know, the people who create viruses, hack systems, are college students, college graduates. Okay, so and they went through the disciplines. We're not here to bring down education. No, we're here to supplement education. When you go on a journey of discovery, you cannot be prejudiced with ideas, correct? You have to let go of colors. You have to figure out what might be the controls I might put on you. Those will be with the perspective of what I like and don't like. It's naturally human instinct. What we want to do with talents of endearment, I'm not talking about education. Education is a process of it's a disciplined system, and we want to complement it with undisciplined systems to come up with what we said, spontaneous opportunities, spontaneous order. Okay? COVID-19 changed the whole perspective of this whole thing. We all agree on that, right? Now, what we are focused in here, imagine creating instants similar to what COVID-19 created. But this is being driven by students who are out there to discover. You see, our aim, I'm a manufacturer of glass bottles, okay? I cannot stop somebody to break the glass and make it turn into a weapon. I cannot do that. I cannot stop somebody who went to college and studied in nuclear physics to make a nuclear bomb. I cannot do that. We are not policing the world, but we are here to help people plan their life early on, especially students, children, younger ages, to be able to see the futures a little bit more clearer. The world of internet today let out the beasts of information. This is true. I have seen colleges, instructors of 30 years and 40 years and 50 years in schools that cannot use computers today, that don't even have a clue how to use the internet or an email. Okay, they're out there. So the majorities of those students and the instructors in there, with all respect to them, they are fixated on what they believe should be done the way they envision it, but things are changing. We are here to drive change the way we think, not of what to think. Talents of endearment is encouraging people to think in the ways they design it to align themselves with it, with their career, with their potentials, with their future opportunities. We're not here to limit you. When I say the biggest things, when I say you're free to do all you want to do, but you cannot do it between 6 and 9. You cannot do it using the computers. You cannot do it. Then what kind of innovation or creativity I'm going to allow you? See what I'm saying? So here we're not to control you, to limit you. We are here to let you open wild, to go wild, to discover the world, but in a way to think. You agree with me or not yet?
I just have one further approach. When you say that we have to explore, we need to mention in what parameters, right? For example, they're working on stem cells. That's illegal according to some religions, some countries.
Right. We don't limit people on what parameters. You see, I don't want people to explore on my own parameters.
There is a connection issue.
Dr. Abid, are you there? Can you hear me? Dr. Abid?
We can Mr. Abdullah.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, Mr.
Abdullah,
Abdullah.
I can hear you as well. I can't hear
Okay,
Abid.
so let me take that question also. I actually wanted to add to what Dr. Abid said. And today we are looking at areas where there is a link between future career and education. So as he said, the complement of early on identifying what is the suitable path that a student would take will help him to plan his journey and without any boundaries. So without any, when you say without any boundaries, given by anyone else. So the student or the person will look at from his boundaries. Of course, everyone is looking at things from his perspective, looking at the culture, the environment, the country which they live in. So if you say they're going to go right or wrong, that will define, the person will define himself. Is this right for him or wrong for him? So the talent of endearment is allowing potential thinking for human intelligence to start thinking about different opportunities, discovering themselves, and looking at where would they go for the future. And if the earlier it's discovered, the more potential going through the right or selecting the right education, doing the proper research, looking at what careers are there in the market which will be suitable for the students themselves. So it looks at all different angles. Any other questions? Dr. Abid, you're with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on a second. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, very clear.
All right. What we need to do is, Dr. Christopher?
Tell me, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
All right. The last word is yours.
Come again?
The final word is yours.
All right. Okay. So life is a matter of choices. It's always that way. And I have, over years, developed a very unique model, very simple, but very unique model. It starts with awareness. Awareness of what is right, what is wrong. Awareness of the opportunities, awareness of the challenges. So that's A. The second one is a choice that we make. So as Dr. Abid said, you can learn nuclear physics and go on to create nuclear fission and fusion for the right purposes, or you can go on to build a nuclear bomb. So that's a choice that you make. So awareness, choices. And these choices lead to the right decisions. The decisions to make the world a better place, or the decision to destroy the world. So that's a choice, that's a decision you have. And that decision will result in a set of actions which can be constructive, which can be destructive. But overall, what I have seen in the last 34 years of my professional career as a researcher, consultant, and advisor to various bodies, international and local, including the World Bank and the United Nations, I can tell you the power of human compassion, the power of human collaboration far surpasses the few radical elements, peripheral elements who will be on the periphery of society. The best example I can think of is Wikipedia. When Jimmy Wales started Wikipedia, people laughed at it, especially people from Encyclopedia Britannica and Microsoft's Expedia, who said that this can never live. But today we have seen that Expedia and Britannica have completely become extinct, while Wikipedia is run by the power of human commons. So if I put in, deliberately, if I put in a wrong note on Wikipedia on any particular element, trust me, within 48 hours, you'll find the right one coming back sitting right there. That's the power of human community, human collaboration, and I'm sure you will still have the radical elements. What's the fun if you don't have them? So yes, should we control the world? Not necessarily. We create the awareness, we create the choices for people, make them take the right decisions, and those decisions result in the right actions, which is how human society has not only survived, but has thrived over the centuries. Because of the power to collaborate, cooperate, contribute towards common good, and I think that will continue for the rest of our lives. Dr. Abbott, over to you.
Dr. Christopher, appreciate it. Now we come to the end. Anybody has any question?